Hi everyone, welcome to another Playing with Charles. Today I'm going to do a couple more characters. We're going to do Nash and I believe Bison. So we'll start with Nash's. I was a big Street Fighter Alpha person back in the day because I'm old. But so Nash, seeing Nash come back was kind of surprising because, you know, Nash dies in Alpha, but of course now he's like Franken Nash, and you know, half of him is all rotted. Here he is with a new character named Helen, with a Russian accent, and in the preview trailers I've seen for the story mode, she's in them. So there is a character model of her, and I do wonder if at one point or another she will eventually become a playable character. So anyway, this is Nash and Guile, you know, back in the Alpha days. It's interesting. Charlie's model for the Alpha stuff makes it look like his vest is kind of like a flotation device or something, like he just fell off a life raft or something like that. Yeah, so there he is talking with Guile. It's interesting also. So here they go to Russia. He's in Russia with Helen. So it makes me wonder actually if all this stuff in the meeting is happening like backstage at the Russia stage. So here he is fighting Bison. You know, if any of you remember Street Fighter Alpha 3, Bison was just like godlike in that game. It was ridiculous. I mean, he was the last boss, and you didn't get continues against him. So, okay, here we go. Blah, blah, blah. I don't know, I do wish they had like an old, if we're going to do the past, I wish they had an old school Bison model. At least give him darker hair or something like that, because you know, Bison didn't have white hair back in the day. So you know, I wish they had actually just kind of fixed his colors or whatever. And it doesn't make sense that he was doing this move either, because he's not, you know, an evil zombie soldier dude yet. You know, yeah, really, that looks like a flotation device. Like, it looks like you go in a pool and you put that on, because it looks like water wings. That's what it looks like to me. So, and then Charlie got shot. Which is interesting about this is this ending actually reflects Street Fighter Alpha 2 rather than Street Fighter Alpha 3. So, I know there's like a compendium or a wiki or something like that with the actual lore on it. For what actually happens in Alpha 3, why Charlie is in that if he died in Alpha 2, but I don't know. Hold on a second, can I yawn? It is late. I'm doing this like late at night, everyone's sleeping. I do a lot of overnight shoots, so I'm used to like getting sleepy when the sun comes up. So that's one of the reasons why I'm doing this one right now, instead of sleeping like a normal person. So, anyway, pretty much this whole prologue for Nash pretty much revolves around him kind of reviewing things, except for something interesting that's going to happen when he's in India, which is right now. So he runs into Ed. And Ed is, I don't know, for those of you who played Street Fighter 4, at the end of Balrog's ending, he finds a little kid who has all sorts of special powers. Apparently Ed is the kid that Balrog rescued. But he's still working for Shadow though. So, you know, and he has psycho power going on. So, I don't know, I would love to see Ed become something important in the story. Like, maybe like, you know, if they're doing different seasons, by the time we get to the final season, if Ed is like the last boss or something like that, if any plays like Alpha 3 Bison, or, you know, just something crazy like that. Like, I would love to see that, or even it turns out that he's Gil, or I don't know, just some sort of weirdness like that would be fun to actually see. Just something to shake things up, because I'm kind of tired of Bison being the last boss. And I'm also, I don't really know if I like the idea of Nikali being the last boss, since he is a playable character, and I've always had a thing against playable characters being the last boss. That's probably why I hate Shinnok so much. Alright, so here I am fighting Fang. I believe it's Fang, because in the other storylines it's pronounced Fang or Fang or something like that. I don't know. I pronounce it Fang, but that's because I'm from Long Island. And see, okay, here, I don't have any problem with this, because here he's like an evil zombie man. So, you know, he can sneak up behind people and use darkness as a move. When he's regular Charlie Nash, I feel like he needs a different move to be doing at the time. So, yeah, so he does that, and then he disappears with Ed, and they probably go off to Fang's love nest, wherever that happens to be. So it's interesting that Nash also seems to be going back and forth between India and Russia. You know, and of course there's where we got the first preview of what Guile's story mode outfit was, which I like. I'm really fond of it, actually, and I also like that they do have his old school one as a as one of his outfits. I was watching footage that they put up recently of Ibuki, and I love her new outfit. I know some people bitch about the skirt being too short or whatever, but you know, whatever, I don't care. I just hope that her classic outfit is at least her premium, because you know, I have the season pass, so you know, I get her premium. All right, so it's time to ride the M bicycle, and you know, we're gonna go to the Shadowloo base. Now, Jade Goat is being talked to by Crimson Viper, who y'all remember from Street Fighter 4. I would be very, very surprised if Crimson Viper and Sakura, for that matter, are not DLC characters in the Season 2 Season Pass. You know, like, I don't know, she just seems to factor really heavily into the story. I don't know if in story mode she's gonna die or something like that. Maybe that'll explain why she's not selectable. But for now, I really think that, you know, that's the route that they're gonna take, and the route that they should take with that. So, anyway, but yeah, it'll be the last 5 minutes of your life. I find it odd that Bison says that it will be the last 5 minutes of Nash's life, because none of the fights last 5 minutes. You know, it's not like an endurance round. Most fights, unless you're playing Street Fighter Cross Tekken, in which everything ends in a count out, but most fights in Street Fighter tend to only be a couple seconds, really. Most fights last, probably I'd say 20 seconds or less. You know, and I mean, if you're not counting, you know, super animation. And yes, I know, they're called critical arts, whatever. Fuck you. I call them supers, okay? Because I am old, and I can do what I want. So, you know, but yeah, you know, so he's like, the last 5 minutes of your life, yada, yada, yada. And, so this is pretty much, you know, and then, of course, the Alpha 2 ending happens that we just saw in Nash, in Nash's story mode. Interesting, well, I guess because they don't want it to be an M-rated game, but there's no blood there. But I don't know what the fuck Bison is doing there. Like, it looked like he put his hand in Nash's chest. And, you know, that's kind of weird. So there's Fang, Master of Poison Hands. You know, blah, blah, blah. And then right now they're describing Fang's story mode. Like it says, like Bison's is almost, it's almost like the clip show of Street Fighter 5 Prologue story mode stuff, because all this is in Fang's, you know. And before, previously, it was in Charlie's. So now we're gonna do the same battle that you'll eventually see when I do Fang. I know a lot of people really hate the character, but I love his design. I think it's kind of interesting that he seems to be such a big, giant, friggin' kiss-ass to Bison, but I kind of love the idea of someone who just you know, acts ridiculously in order to go and get everybody off guard. And then he goes and, you know, like, destroys everyone, you know, with his, like, poison hand. I mean, you know, Fong ain't no one to fuck with. And, you know, oh man, I love doing the Bison Stomp. That's, like, my favorite move from Bison. But, you know, it's like he comes off as kind of ridiculous, and he's dancing, and he has a silly voice, and he's like, oh, but that's how number 2 moves, and, you know, all that sort of nonsense. But, you know, I find it really fascinating that, like, he's this deadly assassin character, and apparently the head of some sort of East Asian cartel that had a reputation, and even went so far as to try to overthrow Bison. I think that's really cool. So, you know, I'm really interested to see where he goes in the story. I also really hope that the stage that they have in its background of the character art becomes a selectable stage. I think one of my big problems with Street Fighter V right now, besides the lack of single-player content, is I don't think there's enough stages. So here we see 3 of the dolls, as well as Balrog and Vega. And I'm not calling him Claw and Boxer. The guy with the claw is Vega. The guy with Boxer is Balrog. Okay, so anyway, there's those 3 dolls. I would really like the dolls to be playable, or not even playable. Like, I wouldn't even mind if they did like a dramatic battle, or even made them CPU bosses or something like that. You know, because we've been hearing about the 12 dolls since Alpha, and I would really, really love to see how they all play, and to see, like, the different variations on them and the different fighting styles that they end up giving them. I think would be really cool. So anyway, here he goes, launching a energy ball, a psycho ball or something, at Crimson Viper, and that is the end of his preview. So until next time,